I think it's very clear that The Bad Batch is not a show that is solely aimed at like hardcore Star Wars fans that are looking for some really intense, serious deep dive into like crazy Star Wars. Now we get some really cool stuff. Obviously, it's kind of almost like it's we've seen stuff like this in Clone Wars and Rebels, where you get like basic random filler and whatever else, little side missions and stories and stuff, which is fine. And that's basically all this really ends up being. I know we're gonna get filler episodes. I expected multiple in this season, but we're getting them back to back here. And honestly, I feel like even though this one was, I guess I feel like it could have been more interesting than last week's, but it was about the same for me. The only thing is, I think even though last week's I like this one more. Last week's felt like it actually had at least the most basic of plot. You go in and you win the race and whatever. This one didn't really do anything. We didn't do anything. We accomplished nothing in this episode. So this Fee, I guess that's her name, is this Wanda Sykes character or whatever, that she came into the series for some reason. I don't know why she even exists. Just like Sid, we're just following these like random people around, and I don't get why. So she's not really even giving them a mission. She's wanting to go on a treasure hunt with the Bad Batch because they found some artifact that has coordinates. So we're gonna go to some random planet that is a mountain, and we're going to go in and we're going to go and find the treasure. It's a treasure hunt. And that's literally the whole episode. So, I mean, there's some cool visuals. I'm not going to say this every week, okay? The visuals are always great. Really, I think the planet actually looked kind of cool from the few little shots we got when they got to the planet. Some of the trees here and the shots with, like, Omega and the group walking through. It looks nice. I really like that. Like, this shot right here looks really cool. I just like the look of the planet they're on. I don't know. They got some cool designs. But basically, this mountain here on this planet, they go into it, they discover the treasure they're looking for. It's like this blue crystal thing. In reality, it's not really even a treasure. It's like a key to, you guessed it, it's like this big mech droid thing that's supposed to destroy everything in its path. And we saw this in the trailer, and it looked very interesting in the trailer. I was like, what is that? Like, what could this possibly be? It looks like some mech zoid droid thing that used for like an ancient army. They describe multiple times in the episode that it's like very, very ancient, and it was used thousands of years ago before the Jedi or something. Like they try to go into that a little bit, how like ancient and old this thing is, but then they tell us nothing about it, nothing at all, and then we move on. That's it. So the episode ends. Oh, by the way, there's a creature that they have to fight again, because that's what you have to do every episode to add conflict. You have to add a random new alien creature to fight off in the battle. So you add another conflict to make it exciting. That's what they do with this show. It's so tiring. I don't get it. And then we're done. They basically have this crystal thing, and they need to put it back into the machine to stop the machine from destroying the land around them so it doesn't destroy their ship. And then it turns it off and basically blows the thing up, from internally. And that's it. So it's not explained what this thing even is. It's just ancient. That's all we know. This mech thing that's just destroying things in its path with a big laser. It's ancient. And it had a key crystal thing that they put back into it after they took it out, and it shut it down and blew it up, and then they leave. So there's this big, super big story they could have told us, and they tell us nothing. They tell us literally nothing about it. It's the most pointless, useless thing ever, just like last week. Now, last week, we actually did get something a little interesting. At the very tail end, we got a little snippet of something we'll get later, and that is that Sid is very untrustworthy. That is something I could pull out of last week's episode. This week, I can't pull a single thing out of this episode. I can't. Unless we're going to go back to this planet and explore this big, monstrous droid thing again, which I doubt we will. This episode was pointless. 100% pointless. Now, I could be proven wrong. I don't see why we would go back to this, but I could be proven wrong. But, I guess to bring it into the show, characters themselves, I'm kind of starting to feel like Hunter a little bit in this show. They're not doing much with him, by the way. He's getting really, really bland in this show, but he's kind of like the only character that never wants to go and do any of this stuff. I kind of agree with this. I kind of agree with him. I really do. I don't want to see this stuff. I don't care. I don't care about it. I want to see the Bad Batch fight the Empire. Okay, we've obviously established that they're a rebellion force. They're a rebellious force against the Empire. Crosshair's after them. Rampart is after them. They had some decent episodes at the start. The first episodes were a basic mission, but it was fun, and it was still something, facing the Empire, and it was pretty good. The second episode, or like the third episode, the second week, was the Crosshair and Cody episode, which was fantastic. One of the best episodes of the whole series so far. And then we just fall off and do this random stuff. Now, obviously, this show, like all the other animated series, have been made to more appeal to children more than the other series. That obviously, that's always been the case. But you can appeal to children and still make incredible, mind-blowing stories. Look at the Clone Wars. I know, Clone Wars is really big. It's got a lot of episodes, a lot of filler episodes, just like Rebels. But the Clone Wars was able to just... You can do it, man. You can do it. You don't need to do the most basic, pointless episodes of anything. Like, at least Clone Wars had some of the big characters you liked. This one is just, you're following the Bad Batch. You're still trying to establish the Bad Batch and who they are really and what their story is going to be and their characters after the Empire has taken over. You're still trying to establish them. This is the second season. We're starting the second season only. And we're just not going anywhere yet. This is only a complaint for now. I think we're going to get a lot more incredible stuff based on the trailers. Trust me, I really don't think this is going to be a full-blown, boring, useless season. I think we're going to get a lot of interesting things. But they're really dragging it out. And they're filling it with a lot of things we don't need. Okay? For a long time, I used to be a big complainer about people screaming filler episodes. We don't need this. Filler episodes. Oh, I didn't like it. It was filler. It's pointless. We're reaching the point where I'm going to become that person because this is full-blown filler. The story made no sense at all. It didn't explain anything they tried to even maybe set up. I don't get what they're doing at all. It is not worth the week wait. It really, really isn't. So next week, I don't know what the hell we're doing. I know in a few weeks we're going to have like 2 episodes, and then at the end of the season we'll have 2 more. We're doing like 3 2-episode, releases. So we'll see what we get there, but boring, useless episode. I'm not going to give it a 0 out of 10, I guess. I don't really do those rankings, but it's like a 1, less than a 1. It's just pointless. It's not bad. Again, it's not bad at all, really. It's just useless. Completely useless episode, and I don't need to watch it ever again. I don't think we're going to explore this thing ever again. I could be wrong, but I just don't think we will. And it's just waste. It's such a waste. You don't need to make 16 episodes of this show if you're just going to do this. Just make it like 8 episodes. Just do 8 episodes and move on. You don't need to do 16 episodes if this is what you're going to give us in between all the good stuff. Like, just stop. We don't need it. We just don't need it. It's not needed.